Good evening, everyone. Welcome to FGM eCast presenting the ANZCAR Cup Series live from Kansas City. That's it, Dorothy's hometown tonight. For the next instalment of the ANZCAR Cup Series, Dave has made his excuses tonight. I should say his excuses, that's probably not the right word to say. He's excused himself from this evening's race. So it is myself and a little under the weather Carl with you, but he has managed to pull himself together, get out of bed and jump on to the race tonight. So Carl will be with us. I'll be probably leading it, and we'll get special comments, I guess, from you tonight, Carl.
Yes, well, I'll be doing as much commentating as I can tonight. Hello, everybody. Just a very deep voice tonight, rather than my usual high pitch self. I think, unfortunately, a bit of a throat infection during the week has made things a little bit difficult. But we are here at Kansas Motor Speedway, a very tricky oval here, 2.5 kilometers long. One of the sort of cookie cutter ovals, you can say. It is one of those tracks that can catch you out quite quickly, though. The turns 3 and 4 are very easy to get wrong. You'll see people lifting off the accelerator a little bit just as they go. Sorry, did I say turns 3 and 4? I mean 2 and 3, sorry. Just as you start going into the corner, you just need to lift off that little bit. Very easy to get it wrong here. Very easy to lose the rear end as well. Those rear tyres are going to be struggling a bit tonight. You'll see a lot of people running a slightly higher line as well. They won't be running right at the bottom. They'll be sort of running that mid to high line tonight. So expect to see that. So should be an interesting one tonight, sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've called here for the trucks, so I know sort of a little bit more about this one than normal. So I'm glad that it's a track that I've got some awareness of. But we will take you through qualifying results relatively shortly. We'll get that when the cars are out on the grid. At the moment, running a restricted 30 car field tonight, and it is going to be a good one. We're talking just before the race that potential for some cautions tonight. As always, time management's going to be an issue, and it's going to be a little tougher on the drivers here tonight, so we're looking forward to seeing how this one plays out. If I'm not wrong, we have a brand new pole sitter for the season so far, but we'll take you through those things in a few moments. A couple of notable absences tonight as well, and the big question is, can Michael Skurlock, who is winning just about everything at the moment that he drives, can he pull it off tonight here and get another victory after a fantastic last stretch finish at Talladega, where he took home the win on Anzac Day, or for our Anzac Day race last Thursday evening.
Yeah, that's it. Skurlock having an amazing season and taking 2 of the super speedway victories so far. He is well on his way to take out that lovely prize of the Simrig if he manages to get the final one at I think Charlotte, or I'm trying to think of the other race now, Indianapolis. So it should be interesting for that one. But quickly, I'm just going to run through the championship order from 10th down to 10th. So up at the top of the field is Josh Micklemore with 386 points. Just behind him is Michael Skurlock with 341. Danny G in third with 322. Neil Pearson slips down to third now. Joint third place with Danny G, with 322. In fifth place is Edward Foster with 314. Jason Martin is sixth with 310. 300 points is Matthew Raymond, with Hamish Gallagher in eighth with 274. Raymond Yeager is in ninth with 270 points, and in 10th position at the moment is Joshua Carroll Walden with 251. So still tight at the top, but good consistency from Josh Micklemore. Out of his 10 rounds to this year, he's finished in the top 10 9 times, has managed to jump him up to the top of the leaderboard.
Okay, so we're going to jump into the qualifying results here. We'll bring the grid up on the screen, and I'm 99% sure that this is correct. Carl, can you just confirm that with your timing screen? Yes, it is indeed there. Yes, it is. So beautiful. So we're off and running here. We had a little bit of an issue just before, but managed to get it fixed in time. So it is Danny G off pole position for the 24 car there. I believe that is his first pole position of the season. Edward Foster, a little bit of a return to form for him. He'll be happy to be up on the front row of the grid in second. We've got Hamish Gallagher and Jason Martin off row 2, with Barry Neal and Josh Micklemore off row 3. Good starting spot there for Josh. Look out for him to come through. Paul Jackson and Lachlan Urquio off row 4, with Justin Witcher and Michael Skurlock off row 5. Neil Pearson, Andrew Dyson off row 6. as we flip back through the field here with Steve Williams. Watch for him as well in the Batmobile off row 7 with Scott Griffith next to him. Ruben Phelps, Damien Stockton off row 8 with JCW off row 9 and Paz off row 9 next to him. We've got Matty Raymond and Kay Donnelly off row 10 with Michael Schroeder and Phil Worley off row 11. James Riley Curtis off row 12. And as we move towards the back of the field here, it's Christopher Finlay, Steve McClellan, we've got Adam Roselle, Luke Trahair and Phil Otto rounding out the 29 starters for this race. 130 laps here at Kansas.
Yeah, good job for Steve McClellan there. First race in ANZCAR in the Zero Lift Racing team. A rookie to the series, but not a rookie in oval racing for sure. So expect to see some interesting stuff from him. But Danny G out on the pole. He's got a lot of teammates around him as well. He's got Hamish Gallagher right behind him. Up on the top row, he's got Jason Martin, Josh Micklemore. Pace car will be coming in here, and we will be going green here at Kansas Motor Speedway for the ANZCAR Cup, round number 11.
And there's Danny G controlling the field here. You can see it's quite close at the front there, very tight up. Edward Foster missed the jump a little bit there with Hamish Gallagher going right with Danny G at the start of this race. Foster's just going to lose that position there. He's going to try and slot himself down on the inside, I imagine, when he can. Looks like Barrett Neal making his way through there as well. So we've got a small split here at the start. Justin Martin with a good start, as well as Josh Micklemore and Paul Jackson. Relatively smooth sailing here. They have stuck out into that outside line, so Foster in that high line as well. Jason Martin there slotting down in the low line as we'll just let this one sort itself out a little bit as they make their way through that first lap, and it is Danny G who gets through there in the lead.
Hamish Gallagher's got quite a good run. Expect to see them starting to go for that slightly higher line just to keep the tyres a little bit safer. Oh, Jason Martin gets loose mid-corner there, just showing that the low line can be dangerous here. He managed to get the car saved right at the point of apex there as, I think that's... who was that up in the wall? It was one of the DPR cars of Justin Witcher, right? Sorry, not Justin Witcher. Andrew Dyson, I think that was Andrew Dyson up in the wall there in the 041.
Yeah, look out for him to make his way through the field. He's also another one who's had a relatively strong start to every race that he's participated in, as the DPR guys, again, just getting really close there. I think that might have been Neil Pearson and maybe Lockie up there in the background. Couldn't quite see it there. But the 13 of Hamish Gallagher still leading away here. It's been a relatively quiet start to this one into lap 3. Guys just jostling for position and sorting themselves out, but Ed Foster's moved back up into the front there, and as you called it, Hamish moves up into that top line, probably just to save or conserve a little bit of tyre and make his life a little bit easier out in the front of the field.
Yeah, these guys are going to be enjoying a little bit of a lower track temperature. The track temperature at the moment is 30 degrees Celsius, a little bit lower than it was in qualifying. That's going to help them out on the low line. The guys were struggling a little bit earlier on with some longer runs, just the rear tyres just lighting up here, and they do get very hot, especially that right rear here at Kansas. So you have to be careful of that running the low line, which Danny G and Josh Micklemore are as they get very close there to Justin Witcher. Yeah,
Justin Witcher there just moving a little bit too far. Would have been a pretty nervous moment as well there for the Mitch Motorsport Danny G 24 as they almost traded paint. Witcher now moves into that low line, take the lead in front of them. The DPR boys just following along that high line with Jason Martin there as well. So just trying to make...
The low line, it has got a bit more speed. Sometimes you see Skurlock just sniffing around down there at the moment, and we know Skurlock can find grip anywhere on a track, even on the infield, on the grass, or even if it was an ice track, he'd find grip on slick. So he's just that kind of driver. But he's having a little look down there at the bottom line, just seeing what's around there and just trying to figure out what's the quick way round. Danny G started to drop back a little bit. He's dropped all the way back down to 8th position at the moment, as just behind him, Lachlan Urquio just gets a little bit loose through turns 1 and 2. I did say watch out for 1 and 2. Very easy to lose the car through there. The rear end just gets a little bit light, and then all of a sudden you're going into the fence. He managed to hold it quite well, but he did lose a little bit of time there.
Yeah, it's just Barry Neal's just caught up again onto the back to Edward Foster there, the lead to Gallagher and Foster. So the chasing pack now have got themselves sorted out a little bit and have managed to attach themselves back onto the leaders You can just see, I think it is Neil Pearson there, just down on the low line. Everyone else just running up in this medium to high line, as it was the 10 of Justin Witcher there, just up rubbing up against the wall as well. So in that same spot again, Carl already caught out a couple of drivers early on.
It's very easy to do here at Kansas because you do run that higher line. You have much less margin for error. All it takes is a momentary lapse of concentration. Sorry, not conversation. Concentration, and that's it. You're up in the wall and you are having a bad night. But these guys doing a good job at the moment. We've had 9 laps so far, all green. So that's what we like to see. We've seen some good racing. We've got a good race going on at the moment between Josh Mickelmore and Justin Witcher. Those two are battling it out. Justin Witcher is just falling a little bit behind now. He is just slipping back a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So just looking on board with Steve Williams here as well. So just having a little bit of a look further back through the field. Just notice he's got DPR livery on.
Yeah, in the Cup, of course, he runs his whites in the Cup, unlike the trucks. But he's running his whites tonight. Of course, the 2021 Season 1 truck champion, Stephen Williams, taking out his first ANZCAR championship this year. Brilliant job from Stevie Dub there. Absolute great work from him and the team. Up front, Barry Neal and Edward Foster at the moment are having a good little battle, dicing it out. As you see, Foster on the low line just starting to try and make his way through. He's having a good little battle there. They are so close at the moment, side by side. Barry Neal with that high line, Foster on the low line at the moment. Foster's going to want to try and get past Neal here, just so he can get up a little bit higher in the line so he doesn't burn off his rear tyres. And you can see Neil Pearson just catching up to this battle very, very quickly now. He's going to try and get a little bit of a draft here. He's going to go underneath Foster, and he's going to try and take that inside line. He's just pushed Foster up high, and that's made him have to drop out from that battle with Barry. But now Neil Pearson's got that low line, so he's going to try and make that work. Will it work for him? Can he get up in front of Foster? I don't think so. Foster's just managed to get better grip out of the corner. But if Neil Pearson can get a sniff underneath Foster, as somebody went up in the wall there. Just saw some sparks there as Barry Neal just went up into the wall just ahead of him, and that's going to give him a chance to catch him. This might block in Pearson and give Foster a little bit of a chance. No, it doesn't. He manages to get up in front of Foster.
Yeah, so just pushed up into that high line there. Keep an eye on this battle here. We'll stick with it as Jason Martin's down on the inside here of Foster, who's trying to make it work. They're not quite able to. So he will stay in that low line. Foster running mid to high line as well. So, of course, 9 laps in, green flag running. So they will be wanting to manage tyres where they can, unsure at this stage, of course, of if there might be a caution period. You'd expect there would be, but it's a very clean start. So that will start to play in their minds a little bit as they make their way around.
Yeah, that's it. You cannot always bank on a caution, because when you do, guaranteed you're going to get a clean race. When you're hoping for a caution, it never comes, unfortunately. But as it is racing sometimes, that's the thing. Dave Douglas just in the chat, just talking about when he was running trucks a few weeks back, and just saying, yeah, that low line can be treacherous, and you sort of got to make a bit of a slide job, make a really good move down on that low line and make it actually stick to get the pass working. Otherwise, you get caught up on that high line. As Hamish Gallagher just clips the wall this time around, going through turns 1 and 2. Just made a little bit of contact with the wall, and this is going to give Barry Neal the opportunity to get underneath him. So the 22 and the 13 at the moment are battling it out for first position.
Just keeping an eye here on what's going on. I was looking down through the field at some of the other close battles going on. Paul Jackson just being passed here by Lachlan Urquio down underneath it as well. Michael Skurlock is currently up into 7th position, so he's making some progress. He's sort of out running by himself at the moment.
And we'll jump to the front, Stuart, because the lead is looking very spicy at the moment. Barry Neal just gets a bit loose there and just forces Gallagher just to have to pinch up a little bit higher than he wanted to. They're getting a little bit close for comfort right now, and Barry Neal's tyres are going to start getting a little bit, just a little bit ragged right now. As Gallagher gets a slide. This is going to give Neal a chance as he gets back on the power earlier. He's going to be able to just keep that side draft going, just get down the side of Hamish Gallagher here. He's got to make this move work quickly before he does cause some damage to those tyres. It is getting getting on in the run now, and those tyres are going to start falling off. These guys are getting very close on the exit here as they come back to the start-finish straight. The little bit of a dogleg that you have, but they are side by side still, and this is only going to hurt the lead because it's giving Neil Pearson the chance to catch up. Barry Neal needs to take that position and get it back up on the high line as those guys are starting to get a little bit loose. Just notice Neil Pearson as well, the back end just stepping out on him. These guys are drifting it at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely they are, just trying to make things stick, but it's not quite working for them where they need to. Just reloading things there. The ticker just not doing what we needed to do, but that's fine. We don't need it to keep going with what we're talking about here. So Barry Neal out in front. Hamish Gallagher there battling right alongside him. So we'll keep having a look at that. Neil Pearson just behind them as well. Edward Foster's just dropped off a little bit now.
Pearson's back end just stepping out big time there. He just had to really it was almost like driving on dirt there for him. He was just back end fully out, just drifting it around the corner. Gallagher's just got a little bit tight in that corner. He just got almost a little bit of snap oversteer in the corner. It just caused him to get a little bit tight there for a second. But Barry Neal's doing a great job running that low line at the moment. He's managing to make it work where many aren't. You can see Jason Martin's starting to work his way back up now. Jason is one of those drivers that's able to keep his tyres alive for long periods of time. So watch him, and if he can get that low line working, he's one to watch out for. But Barry Neal at the moment is getting it done. He's got underneath Hamish Gallagher, and he's going to take the lead of this race here at Kansas.
Absolutely, and Neil Pearson trying to go with him as well. He's just dropping off a little bit. Ed Foster under attack still from Jason Martin as well. So this battle's been going on for a few laps now too. Martin down on that low line, and Mitch Motorsport 21. So now he's just managing to make it through. There's got to be a little bit of management come into their thoughts now, whether or not it's worth racing for the minute. And Michael Skurlock now up into 6th position, so he's closing in on the back as well.
We almost get contact up at the front between Hamish Gallagher and Barry Neal. They got very close, and that's going to put Hamish Gallagher in the grasp with Neil Pearson. They got very, very close on the exit of turn number 4 there. Side by side, I imagine there is going to be a tiny bit of red paint on the side of Barry Neal, and a tiny bit of orange paint on the side of Hamish Gallagher there. That was so very close. You could put a cigarette paper between them. But Barry Neal's doing a great job at the moment. He's just able to run that bit lower line at the moment, and he seems confident down there. Of course, lower line can be a bit faster, of course. It's the shorter line, and that can sometimes bring you a little bit of speed, but it can hurt your tyres quicker. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes in this run. But as you said, Michael Skurlock is doing a good job of working his way up. He's managed to build a gap over Josh Mickelmore, who is being attacked at the moment by his teammate, Danny G.
Yeah, absolutely. Those two just running top and tail. Yep, that's the way. And Justin Witcher as well, closing in on that battle too. A little bit further back, you got Paul Jackson, I should say, under attack from Ruben Phelps, who ducks down to the inside just as we jump on board with him. And that has meant a change of position for him. So Paul Jackson now down into 11 up and doing a good job. Ruben Phelps as well on the back there. JCW in the 35. Natari Sports Car is right behind him, putting pressure on. Matty Raymond's in this battle along with Lachlan Mercury. So I've got a little pack here for me as well. Schroeder, Stockton in that as well.
Yeah, those little battle packs, and you can see JCW there just going down the inside, doing a good job of getting past Paul Jackson there, and he's going to slide up in front of him now and just start trying to catch on to Ruben Phelps as well. So Ruben Phelps doing another good job. He's up there in the top 10 again in that Mark 1 esports car, and we've seen it all season with Ruben. He has been a good peddler for the series, and he's been setting some good times, but JCW is definitely on the charge at the moment. He is looking to get his season a little bit more underway. It's not been the best start for him. You've got to say he's not had any W's next to his name as of yet, but JCW is one of those drivers that is very, very quick on his day, and he has been just getting better and better and better. So one to watch out for sure. It's not been the best season for him. He's only had 4 top 10 finishes so far, but it just shows the level of competition in the series as well. It's been a tough year for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely it has. Sorry to everyone there. Just missed out on the chat as well. So just quickly catching up on what everyone's been saying there. Thanks for joining us on YouTube. If you are on YouTube and you're not subscribed, do hit that subscribe, follow us, turn the notifications on as we continue to try and grow that part of our channel and stream and what we do there for you. So if you're not liking or following, please do hit that button. We would love you to do it, and it would greatly support our channel. Speaking of supporting our channel, AJ Insurance Services, just quickly while we're doing it, they are a insurance broker out of New South Wales. If you're looking for anything to do with insurance, jump on board and give Joe and the team a call if you need any assistance in that department. As we continue with Barry Neal leading the front of this one from Neil Pearson.
Yeah, just a little bit further back, as I said, JCW is on the charge at the moment. He's made his way up into 10th place. He's just got past Matty Raymond and Ruben Phelps. So JCW is on the charge at the moment. He's now trying to chase down Justin Witcher, who has a good bit of a gap. He's got about a second gap between these guys. So that little battle pack forming behind him, that sort of secondary pack, now has to stop bickering and start chasing down the leaders, because at the moment Barry Neal is pulling away. He's got a half-second lead over Neil Pearson, second lead over Jason Martin, 2 seconds over Hamish Gallagher, and 2.5 seconds over Edward Foster. So he is absolutely flying away with this, and he does not want to see a caution flag come out.
No, absolutely not, although they would probably prefer it. Yeah, what have we got any idea roughly on fuel longevity here? Do we know roughly when we might have
Oh, we get a big snap at the background, as I think that was Lachlan Urquio there, almost bringing out the caution. He just had a big moment going through turns 1 and 2, up into the wall, caught that slide perfectly, and good job of the drivers around him for avoiding that one, because yeah, he had a big snap and then a secondary snap. Paul Jackson doing a great job of just putting the brakes on there and avoiding that crash. Perry Anastakis as well, just avoiding that incident too. So Parry having a little bit of a run there too. So fuel wise, we'll be looking around about 50 to 60 laps, I believe, but I think we're going to see tyres dropping off a little bit quicker than that.
Okay, so that's the equation if we do run green from here on for a little while yet. So hopefully so would be the first time for a little while. We've looking through here, Luke Trahare, they're still running the ANZAC livery for the Crank Esports boys. He's battling away down with this pack here, Scott Griffiths and Riley Curtis. Phil Otto also involved with Cade Donnelly. So they're all having a nice little time down at the back here, but still well and truly in touch with the pack in front of them, so they need to get themselves sorted out so they can make some progress, but all clean running at the moment.
Yeah, we're seeing some good running up there at the moment. Got to say, at the moment, Barry Neal is doing a fantastic job of keeping the pace going, just keeping that car going faster than anyone else out on the track as well. And he just seems to be happy on that lower line. He's not taking quite as tight line as he was earlier in the race. He's just letting it up a little bit, but he is just a lot more comfortable at the moment and just keeping that car perfectly running, not having any misdemeanors. So doing a great job. JCW at the meanwhile has just got past Josh Micklemore. They are battling it out. As I said, Josh Carroll is on a bit of a charge here. He is working his way up the field, and just behind him you see those two Mark 1 eSport cars, Ruben Phelps and Michael Schroeder. They're working their way up the field too. Looks like Josh Micklemore might just be losing a little bit of pace here. He might have had a little bit of contact in the wall because he's got a little bit of damage on the front of that car as well. So not sure what happened to Josh Micklemore there. Unusual for Micklemore to have a little bit of a moment because he is such a clean driver, but he's definitely had some sort of quick moment out there, and that's just caused a little bit of damage to that front of the car.
As you say, you can just see there, particularly as we jump on board, you can just see a little bulge in the bonnet there, so a little bit of damage, but he carries on. Not enough to cause too much damage to the goings on of this affair. So we are at Kansas if you've just joined us for ANZCAR Cup racing.
Yeah, we're just hitting lap 36 now, and we've got 95 laps remaining of this race. Sorry, lap 35, there we go. Sorry, my maths is off. I will blame it on the cold and not my lack of counting ability. But just behind them, you can see those Mark 1 eSport boys. They're just running that lower line. They seem to be finding out a lot of lines working for them as well. So a few drivers experimenting with some different lines at the moment. Matty Raymond is just catching on to Justin and Witcher as well. And those two are fighting it out on different lines too. So it's interesting to see the different strategies being played out here as we've got green flag racing, which is always nice to see. We always like to see that green flag racing happening because it does bring into it a lot more strategy and, of course, a fair few different actions to be taken by drivers, because do you push early on? Do you go for a really hard fast charge here, or do you try and eke it out, try and get the fuel mileage, try and get it to a sort of fewer stops as possible? That's the question. I think most of these guys are burning it fast at the moment. They're just turning and burning at the moment and not really paying attention to numbers. They know they're going to have to stop, and if it remains green, they're going to have to stop about two times tonight.
It looks like Lachlan Urquhart may have dropped out here. He's pulled down into pit lane. So lap 36, the first of our drivers to jump into pit lane. He'll be taking tyres there, you can see. So he's decided to take the plunge under the green flag.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit painful for Lockie. He's going to get a few repairs done, of course, get those fresh tyres on and get the car back out. But those fresh tyres are going to help him out. He is going to be the quickest car out there, of course. He should have some clear running too. So he's going to try and get a little bit of an undercut going. And if this race remains green, he is going to jump up a fair few positions running out there on those fresh tyres. It's going to help him an awful lot. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll see the pace difference as well on those fresh tyres compared to ones that have done a fair few laps. It's going to be around about 2 seconds a lap, I think. James Robbie comes in as well, so we've got a couple of people coming in at the moment. James Robbie coming in for the Pace Syndicate team, and he's going to do a similar thing. I think he spotted Lockie coming in, and he's just covering him off.
Might just be starting to struggle a little bit. Barry Neal certainly not struggling. 1.2 seconds to the good out in front of Neil Pearson. Jason Martin, my apologies, in third position. Hamish Gallagher in fourth. Edward Foster in fifth. Skurlock in sixth. Danny G in seventh with Matty Raymond eighth. Justin Witcher ninth. And we've got Joshua Carroll Walden rounding out our top 10 as we are on lap 40. It's been green all the way. So lap 40 of this one at Kansas. And tell you what, it's... thought there might be a few cautions, but so far the driver's doing a great job here of keeping it green. I'm going to jump on board now with, we'll jump on to Ruben Phelps. Big Dave just dropped into the chat there and made a mention of the sort of season that Ruben is having, and he has had a cracking start across a couple of the ANZCAR divisions, and a little bit of damage on the right-hand front there. I think that's going to be a fairly familiar sight this evening. But he is knocking on the door, has been knocking on the door for his first race win. A few podiums so far this season. Not quite able to get the W yet, but it's not going to be too far away for Ruben, I don't think.
No, he's been one of those drivers that's impressed a lot of people. He put himself on the radar pretty early on in the season and has impressed an awful lot of people out there as well. His first season in the ANZCAR series. So doing a great job out there, and yeah, really just doing solid work, just making a good name for himself as well. I've managed to race with Ruben a couple of times so as well in the trucks, and he's a very clean driver as well, very clean racer, which is always big thing as well, and he's one of those drivers that you feel confident racing against as well. So those things do make a big difference as Philip Worley comes into the pit lane. So we've got a few people coming into pit lane at the moment. We're seeing a few different strategies play out. I think these guys are stopping more so because of tyres than fuel, but of course they'll be able to chuck some fuel on board, just go a little bit longer in the stint and get it working. We've got a good little battle for 21st and 22nd at the moment between Kate Donnelly and Scott Griffiths, with Luke Trehair just on the back of those two. Another driver that has really impressed this year, Luke Trehair. He's just been really coming strong this season, improving on last year in his rookie season and just showing everybody that he has a lot of talent as he goes down underneath Kate Donnelly. And in the pit lane is Michael Skurlock.
Yeah, I just noticed that. Just picked that up there on the screen. So Skurley, one of the faster drivers in the field, has taken the plunge. He is now in pit lane getting tyres. He'll be getting that Crank Esports 350 juiced up as well. And back on his way out of pit lane on lap 45.
So if you want to see a difference of pace, if you just jump to Barry Neal quickly, you see James Robbie just in front of him, just flying away from him at the moment. And James Robbie is on fresh tyres, so he is absolutely flying. Stephen Williams in pit lane as well. So James Robbie is around about 2 seconds lap faster at the moment. So it is a big difference on those fresh tyres. So expect to see Skurley jump up the field a little bit. But of course, it is a bit of a false position as we've got Danny G coming in the lane and JCW.
Yeah, absolutely. So just keeping an eye here on James Robbie. We'll stick on board with him as he gets through this lap, just to see the relative lap times. Can't touch on it there. Barry Neal last time around 32.2. James Robbie 31 flat basically, and this time around as he comes across the start-finish line, he should probably jump down a little lower. Yeah, he does. Jumps down into the mid-30s. So second and a half a lap there. He'll certainly make things up. Neil Pearson, Hamish Gallagher, Edward Foster deciding to jump in. Michael Schroeder jumping into pit lane 2. So if there's a caution, these guys will suffer for that, but they have decided to take the plunge as well.
Yeah, they will get some big gain early in the stint, of course. Barry Neal coming into pit lane right now. I just heard him lift off. He is coming in this time round. Jason Martin staying out there, though. So good entry for Barry Neal. He just makes it nice and smooth, doesn't make a mistake. So he comes in nice and well. Ruben Phelps, I think, is going to be pitting in this time too. But Barry Neal just makes it in nice and easily. So it's going to be interesting to see where he comes out in comparison to people like Edward Foster, because he did have a big lead over him in this race. So we're going to see what difference the undercut does make here. So we'll see how much time he loses. Jason Martin coming in this time around, he locks up on the pit entry, but he makes it in and perfectly fine. A little bit scruffy from Jason, but he made it in, which is the important thing. So yeah, a lot of these guys coming in. This is going to leave Matty Raymond in the lead of this race, so he's going to get that bonus point for leading the race. So it looks like these guys can do just about 50 laps. So that's about it by the looks of things. So they are struggling past that. So we now know our rough idea of pit stops. So we've got 80 laps remaining, so we're going to see another stop for sure.
So interestingly enough, Barry Neal back out in front, Neil Pearson second. Michael Skurlock jumps up to third place after those pit stops. So he's made up 3 positions in the pit lane. Edward Foster falling foul of him, Hamish Gallagher as well. And Michael Skurlock up to third on the adjusted track position. Once we get through these pit stops, you can see him there just eating up some of those lap cars as well, the slower cars that haven't stopped yet. As he goes by Justin Witcher, who's actually leading the race, and he goes by him like he's standing still, so it gives you a really good idea of the speed differential on these fresh tyres. Edward Foster's going to be next to unlap himself, so a good thing there. I was just trying to work out the difference, and the stop times are actually basically identical. It was the lap in, I think, that was the difference.
Yeah, Skurlock was out there for 3 more laps as well, so that made a big difference there. So, and we've got a caution.
James Robbie off. So James Robbie out first through pit lane has had an incident here. It's brought out the caution. This is gonna toss the field up a little bit.
Yeah, so it looks like James Robbie and sorry, I'm doing the do-do-dos. It looks like James Robbie's actually made contact with Steve McLennan there, so a little bit of contact on the front straight. Just looks like James Robbie might have just come down a little bit on Steve there, and they've just made contact and spun round. So this is good news for Justin Witcher. This is just what he wanted to have seen. This is the good news for those guys that stayed out. This is going to help them with track position. Those guys that pitted, they are going to struggle a little bit, because a few of those guys, especially people like Skurley, being out on those tyres for so long, those tyres will have fallen off the cliff a little bit, and they won't be as fresh as they were. So the tyres do drop off quite quickly here. So you might see a few people taking the chance to stop, even though they only stopped a couple of laps ago. Of course, a lot of them are going to have to stay out to get their laps back as well. So everybody from Hamish Gallagher down are a lap down. So Foster just making it past at the ideal time to get his lap back.
Yeah, absolutely. So now will this play out from here? Barry Neal, there's a whole host of cars in pit lane.
Yeah, and it looks like Barry Neal's decided to stay out, so those guys that pitted have stayed out. So they are going to stick it out there and just keep it out there and hope that they can keep it going. So it's going to be interesting on the restart though, because you've got guys on slightly older tyres, and we've seen it can be perilous on those restarts. When you put your foot down, sometimes it's very easy to spin up those tyres when they are a little bit worn. Of course, they've only done about 6 to 10 laps though, so they're not going to be off the cliff at the moment. But the big advantage for the guys that have pitted a little bit earlier, those tyres will be up to temperature. One of the big things in stock car racing, of course, is you don't have fancy tyre blankets like those Europeans with their fancy equipment. You don't have any of that kind of stuff, so you have to make do with cold tyres being chucked onto the car. So you need to get those tyres up to temperature, and that is a big thing. So those guys that stop right now are going to have slightly colder tyres on this restart, so they'll have to they'll take a couple of moments, a couple of corners just to get up to temperature. So the guys that stay out there will just have a little bit more temperature on the restart. So it's going to be interesting to see. But you've got to say, it's looking good for Justin Witcher at the moment. Justin Witcher and Paul Jackson, those two are on very fresh tyres. Andrew Dyson as well. Andrew Dyson up there in 5th position. He stopped just the lap prior, I think. So he was basically in pit lane when that caution came out. And that really helped him out, as well as Phil Otto and Parry Anastakis.
Yeah, so there's a few up there. Lap 52, as you say, 5th, 6th, 7th onwards. In fact, in the middle of that pack, Hamish Gallagher, but the balance of those drivers from 5th all the way down to 12th on basically fresh rubber, or as fresh as it gets by the time this restart occurs. Michael Skurlock, lap 43, he is the one who's going to be up against it a little bit. Of course, tyres will cool down a little during this, and that'll give him a little bit of a freshen up, but yeah, probably going to struggle if it does go green flag again for the 50-odd laps that we saw it for at the start of this race. He'll need to pit during that time as well. So let's see how this restart goes. Scott Lachlan Urquio, he blast pitted on lap 36, so he's going to get absolutely mauled by those behind him who have pitted later than him on this restart too. So JCW be looking to make some position along with Matty Raymond, Steve Williams a little earlier as well. So it's a real mixed bag out there.
Yeah, it is, and just Barry Neal for Gotcha Racing, just saying over the radio, because he was a little bit unsure. He just asking over the radio, is the restart on the green or is it on me, guys? Because I've never led on a restart for ANZCAR, so always nice to have new leaders and things like that. Barry Neal doing a great job up there, you got to say. But of course, with ANZCAR rules, it is on the leader. So when the leader goes, that's when you will go. It's not on the green flag. So you've got to stay in formation. You can't change lanes or anything like that. You've got to stick in formation, stick in position until the leader goes, and you can't change lanes until you cross that start-finish line. So that's a big thing for ANZCAR series, and one of the big rules to try and keep basically rules under scrutiny, and also to keep accidents to a minimum. But the pace car lights have gone out. Barry Neal is going to lead away for the very first time in ANZCAR here behind the pace car. So he has got Neil Pearson on the outside, and it's his prerogative to when to put his foot down. So he's got a big advantage here. So pace car comes in, Barry Neal waits for it, he drops his hammer, makes a good restart there, catches a lot of people out.
Does a good job there to get away nice and early. Skirley missed it a little bit, as did Neil Pearson. So he's got a good open there as we get settled back in. They're 3 wide, a little bit further down in the pack, as well as everyone tries to figure out what grip they've got and work with it. Edward Foster closing in on the back of Neil Pearson there.
Yeah, Foster trying to make it shine, and Neil Pearson's just caught up behind Skurlock. He's going to have a little bit less speed up there. Those tyres are a little bit older, of course, so Skurlock is going to be really doing his job tonight and showing us why he is one of the best. He is going to be really pushing it out there. As I said before, if anyone can find grip from there is done, it's usually Skurlock. He's one of those drivers that you sort of go, how on earth did he take that corner? So he is really pushing it on those older tyres at the moment. Barry Neal has still got the lead. but Skurlock is putting the pressure on him.
And Neil Foster, my goodness me, Edward Foster moves up over Neil Pearson, back up into third place. They're just battling between them. That'll keep toing and throwing. Skurlock right up on the back of Barry Neal now. He is just almost rat-a-tat-tatting on the back of the 22, but just moves, gets a little bit loose there, but just holds on to it, and he'll try again on this higher line. Barry preferring that lower line in the 22. This is working for him so far, so why not?
Yeah, it's really, he seems to be more comfortable down there than everybody else at the moment, and he seemed to be comfortable down there all night long, but Skurlock's got a good run on him right now. He's going to be up on that high line. He's going to be trying to make it work, but can't quite get it done. Barry Neal's just able to get this car switched on that low line very well, but Skurlock's got a good run out the corner. He's managed to get a good exit here, and he might be able to sort himself down in front of Barry Neal as a little bit further back. There's some battling going on with a rather poorly placed Danny G, who got caught up in those pit stops and is now a lap down.
The Skurlock moves into the lead. Neil Pearson here just struggling a little. That high line working. The 9 of Neil Pearson goes through too. Edward Foster will probably join them. He does on that high line, and in fact you can see there as well Andrew Dyson, man, on the freshest set of rubber in this lead pack. He is right up there, up behind Edward Foster as well. So keep going here, just there to see Dyson there just closing up on the back. He's decided to pull down on the low. He's going along with Barry Neal, who's with Foster. Oh, it's really tight in this pack here.
Yeah, we've got some really close racing right at the top. Top 6, 7 cars there, all in a row. They are very, very close together. As one of the DPR cars, I think, just made slight contact with the wall. Just a few sparks coming off there. This has allowed Perry Anastakis as well. He's managed to get up there as well, and he's just closing in on the back of Barry Neal at the moment. So he's doing a really good job to be running up there as well. Another one of those new drivers to the Cup and ANZCAR that is having a great race at the moment, and one that has been showing some good turns of speed. Perry Anastakis there. Josh Micklemore is working his way back up, and he's got a fast charge and Justin Witcher next to him. But at the moment, it looks like Michael Skurlock is managing to set the pace, even though he's on those slightly older tyres.
Yeah, absolutely. There's just some close moments with drivers just moving down, take position. Edward Foster there just now in front of Barry Neal. He's trying to use the 9 of Neil Pearson to create a hole in the ozone for himself. Not in the ozone, but you know what I'm talking about. As Michael Skurlock does still lead this one. Perry, as you said, doing a good job there, just right behind them there in the 144 Penrite liveried entry. They're down on that low line.
The good thing about sim racing, of course, is it is a very low emission sport. There is a very little carbon dioxide made from it, so it doesn't have too much effect on the old ozone layer above us, luckily. But Barry Neal just getting a little bit looser. That's allowed Anastakis to get through and past Foster as well. Great move by Parry there, and he is working his way right up now behind Neil Pearson. So he is right on a flyer at the moment. Those fresh tyres are definitely working for him. He's going to start charging up the field, and I think he might even have pace over Skurlock.
And the 41 there just before of Andrew Dyson, just clipping the wall as well, even though on those fresher tyres, just having that little moment. Just say Parry now down on the low line, Skurlock running high. Just got to be careful, Parry, here, that he doesn't blow his tyres.
Oh, as Neil Pearson gets a big tank slapper mid-corner there, he managed to catch it, but Parry is managing to keep that low line working for him, and he is going to get the move done, I would say, quite easily here, because those tyres are just dropping off the cliff. Meanwhile, Foster is had a move made on him by Andrew Dyson. Those guys on those fresher tyres are now starting to get all over the back of the drivers that did not pit. There is a mass scrum of cars. You can see there Josh Micklemore, he came in to the pits a little bit later. He pitted with that caution. He's made it in. Barry Neal just getting a great run on Neil Pearson this time around. Barry Neal having a good run back up there. His tyres are not done for sure, but he is still flying. But those guys on those fresher rubber are definitely having an advantage at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't even know where Josh Micklemore came from. He's just piled his way up through the field and is now into fifth position. My apologies, Justin Witcher doing the same. Andrew Dyson, even though he's on fresher tyres, just struggling a little bit there, just getting caught up. but he's doing a great job. Damon Stockton as well, just here, just on the back, joining this pack here. He pitted on lap 53, so he's even slightly fresher in the tyre department than those he is running with. So watch for these guys. They'll keep making their way up. They won't want to waste these tyres, and Josh Mickelmore certainly not wasting any time at all. He is now out on the onset to get onto the back of Barry Neal, Michael Skurlock and Parry at the front of the field.
Yeah, Anastakis has made up over half a second. He's 0.7 of a second ahead of Skurlock at the moment. So he's doing a great job. Right now, you can see Barry Neal has just got his tyres back on. His car started working for him again, and he's got that pace that he had earlier back. He's managing to get that low line working for him once more. Of course, the longer this race goes on, the more rubber gets up on that high line, so it becomes a little bit easier. You do get some marbles as well all over the place, so you've got to be a bit careful for them. But Barry and Parry, that's going to be a fun one to say quickly in succession. But Barry is doing a great job at the moment of getting that car working again, and he is starting to pull away from Skurlock, but not really catching on Parry.
Yeah, Parry's still nearly a second to the good ahead of Barry Neal, but Michael Skurlock already blown out about half a second behind Barry Neal. And Josh Mickelmore now right up on the back of him there as well. In fact, he'll get a move done as they head down into turn 2, I believe, and he will complete that move. Just moving up a little bit there on Skurlock. That'll unsettle the car a little bit. Skurlock there just using that to drag him back a little bit, but it's not going to matter too long as Mickelmore moves down onto that inside line. He'll close that out, and there he is up into third place. A great set of laps for him. He's moved his way right up the field now, and again he'll set out, see if he can't get hold of the back of Barry Neal at some stage. Down on the inside there, Justin Witcher equally doing the same to Skurlock, so he's made the move, and you can clearly see the difference there that those 9 laps made in the pit stops.
Yeah, Justin Witcher absolutely flying there and just keeping a hold of him. As these guys battle on, it's really going to help out Parry and Barry up at the front. The P&B boys, they are going to have it helped out because these guys are fighting at the moment tooth and nail, and they are losing time. Josh Mickelmore is now almost 2 seconds behind the leader. So 1.8 seconds behind the leader at the moment for Josh Mickelmore. And we have two drivers that have very few top 5 finishes up at the front at the moment with Barry Neal and Parry Anastakis, so great job for them. They're doing a great job in this race. Obviously helped out a little bit with that safety car and the pitting, but Barry Neal has had pace all night long, and he is starting to catch Parry as well, so he's closing the gap on the leader despite having tyres that are about 5 laps older. So he is just getting to that point. I'd say Anastakis' tyres are just starting to plateau a little bit, and Barry Neal is just showing that pace once more.
As I say, Skurlock is hemorrhaging time at the moment. He is dropped down behind Edward Foster as well. Damon Stockton closing up on the back of him as well, as they're just dropping oodles of time to this lead pack now over 3 seconds behind the leaders. And Neil Pearson will be making his way through that. Damon Stockton there just dropped a few spots as well. Not quite sure what happened there. Didn't pick anything up on the radar. That might have just run a little bit loose.
Yeah, I'll just have a little look back at that. He had a big moment up into the wall of turn number 3 and 4, so he's gone up into the safer barrier. Managed to keep the car going, just had a bit of a wall ride. A little bit of the PS1 racing days there for Damon Stockton, and that's cost him a lot of speed down the start-finish line and cost him a few positions there. Meanwhile, the leaders have pulled away. They are 2.2 seconds ahead of Josh Mickelmore and Justin Witcher at the moment. So they are still pulling away very quickly. Barry Neal's around about half a second behind Parry Anastakis, so he is doing a good job of just keeping in touch, but he just needs a little bit more time there, and just needs to hold on there, because I think you'll see Anastakis just start to slow down a little bit as his tyres go off, and Barry Neal will just be able to keep up that pace, I think. But the battle is still on with Justin Witcher. He's still fighting out there with Josh Mickelmore, Andrew Dyson, Edward Foster. Those guys are really battling at the moment.
You see James Robbie making his way back out onto track after his early incidents. He's got that car repaired and is back on his way out. A number of laps down, but experience is experience.
Well, that's it, and you never know what's going to happen. There is still 53 laps in this race remaining, so he can still make up a lot of positions if anyone has an unfortunate night. Justin Witcher now just going down on the inside of Micklemore. He is going to try and make that move stick, and he's got Andrew Dyson just behind him. You were talking earlier about Andrew Dyson not having quite the same pace as the guys around him, and I'd say that's because Dyson does have a little bit of damage on the front of that car, so he probably was struggling a little bit earlier in the stage when these cars were running a bit faster, of course, but he has managed to make things work now.
Big puff of smoke there up in the front as well. Didn't quite see who that was, so we continue to focus on this battle as Dyson, Witcher and Micklemore play a little bit of cup roulette to see who it is who's going to get up into this third position for the minute. Edward Foster there just jogging on the spot behind them, watching what's going on, waiting to pounce if anything happens. Managing tyres a little bit too.
And I'll tell you where that puff of smoke came from. That was from Barry Neal. Barry Neal just having a bit of a moment there. He's all good, but he had a little bit of a moment. I think it was a little bit of connectivity issue for Barry Neal, and that just dropped him out for a couple of seconds. Meanwhile, Lachlan Urquio's come into pit lane, I believe. So he's come back into pit lane. He's got some fresh tyres on him. So he's out there on fresh tyres. And we're going to see the difference now that fresh tyres make. Even with a bit of a banged up car, he is absolutely flying past the leaders.
So this thing's just settled down a little bit. Andrew Dyson's managed to make his way through. Micklemore, which is still trading positions. Foster's still just sitting there. As Jason Martin gets past Michael Skurlock. I don't believe he touched the wall there at all, just a pass, but that has come about as well. So Justin Martin up into 7th position, Skurlock in 8th naturally, because 8 comes after 7. So that is the way things are standing at the moment. So it's sort of stabilised a little bit, this pack here. The 21 of Martin and the 350 of Skurlock closing ever so slightly on Foster, Witcher, Micklemore and Dyson, as well as they continue to battle away, slowing them down. You can just see that gap closing up now. So this pack will transform from a 4 into a 6 very quickly. And Neil Pearson not too far off the back of this either. So this is forming. Guys at the front too have closed down. Barry Neal now right up onto the back of Parry at the front of the race.
Yeah, as I said, would probably happen here. We'll see Barry just start catching there because those tyres, when they start dropping off, I think it's just going to catch Parry out a little bit, just a little bit less experience in the Cup Series for Anastakis, but still an absolute fantastic drive, and he's just keeping the car where it needs to be. He's not pushing it too hard, he's just keeping it relaxed at the moment. Now, we're going to see some people coming into pit lane shortly. I imagine we might see a few of those top runners that didn't come in the caution period to roll the dice here and maybe make a stop. You might see somebody like Michael Skurlock start thinking about that pit stop maybe in the next 5 or 10 laps. So he might come in very shortly, chuck on some fresh tyres, and then try and advance up the field a little bit, because we only have 47 laps to go, and we know they can make it on 50 laps.
So it's that question now. It's been a very, very clean night in terms of running, and plenty of it close together, but not too damaging for the drivers. I'm just watching here on the timing monitor, Edward Foster and Witcher jump around, but Witcher's just fallen off the back there a little bit. You can see there, though, it is Foster, Witcher, Martin and Skurlock all together. It looks like Martin there just having a sniff down the inside of Witcher, and he is, which is just sliding up into that higher line. Just keep seeing how this one plays out as he's moving up.
Sorry, just up at the front, we've got a move for first place as Barry Neal makes the move down the start-finish straight and gets past Parry Anastakis. Getting back into the lead of this race is Barry Neal in the Gotcha Racing Team number 22, showing fantastic pace here tonight.
Absolutely. So back up the front for Neil. He'll keep trying to consolidate that lead again like he did early on in the race. Be interesting to see here how long Parry can hold on to the back of him for. Gap's already blowing out, so maybe needing those new tyres. But of course, Barry Neal 5 laps earlier than Parry in pitting, so maybe just pushing a little hard there. Parry won those tyres off a little quick, so see whether or not Andrew Dyson can close in on the back of him with a similar pit window, 52 laps.
Meanwhile, just a little bit further back, Foster is making a move on Micklemore as well for 4th and 5th position. Foster's starting to get a good sniff on the back of Josh Micklemore. As I say, those tyres are starting to plateau a little bit, and those guys on the fresh tyres no longer have that pace advantage, so they are now sort of losing that little bit of speed that they had. This is good news for somebody like Michael Skurlock, who is going to be struggling out there on those older tyres. But he's not going to be having too much of a time. He's not going to be losing too much time. But it looks like Foster just might have lost a little bit of speed there on that low line as he's coming into pit lane. Foster and Skurlock coming into pit lane. I did say watch out for this. Those guys that didn't come in the caution, they're going to probably stop a little bit earlier. And Foster and Skurlock are the ones that blink first.
Yeah, 3 laps difference between those two in terms of pit time. But as you say as well, if they have got one eye on the end of this race, from here they can make it home. So we will see how far they push into it. If there is another caution period, what they do as well. Of course, reminder there that Foster did start on the front row of the grid. Jump back on with our race leader, Barry Neal. Which I was going to just quickly check to see. Yeah, of course, both sides of the car up in the air there. So taking a full set of tyres. And Barry Neal here now, nearly a second out to the good in front of this field, with Parry Anastakis in 2nd place. We've got Andrew Dyson in 3rd, and it is Jason Martin, JCW, Steve Williams and Christopher Finlay now also jumping into pit lane. So a number of the drivers now starting to make their way through. These are the drivers mainly who did not pit on that first section. Josh Micklemore jumping in now as well as Hamish Gallagher.
Sorry, Joshua Carroll-Walden just leaving it very, very late there. We almost actually got a caution. He left it very late to come into pit lane and almost got collected coming into pit lane. Almost coming to a stop mid-track and darting into the pit lane there. So very, very close for him. But this is good news for people like Foster and Skurlock. Yep, thank you. Foster and Skurlock, who pitted that little bit earlier. They're going to have those fresher tyres and having a good run on this. They also know that those fresh tyres, they do have an advantage. They know how long it does. Anastakis has come into pit lane. But they know roughly how much the tyres drop off as well. So they've been looking at these times, working out what's going to work out best for them. And they think if it remains green, they have got the cars to go to the end. And people like Barry Neal won't be able to catch up to them. Or will struggle to catch up and pass them. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. But we saw Barry stay out a lot longer than some of the other drivers as well, so he is going to keep it out there for as long as possible, I think.
Bad news here. I think Edward Foster may have got a stop-go. He is back in pit lane and stationary.
Unfortunate there for Foster. He is going to be very, very unhappy about that one. Must have been a speeding in pit lane infringement for that one, I would say. Or he's, yeah, because I couldn't really see anything major. He did come in a little bit late, but looked like it had slowed down, so he might have just called his pit lane speed a little bit wrong there. So that is going to be a disaster for Foster's night. Barry Neal has come into pit lane.
And Andrew Dyson assumes the lead of this race. He did pit on lap 52, so he won't be too far off from jumping in, but rack up a point for leading the race. And Phil Otto behind him. Justin Witcher is in 3rd, albeit Damon Stockton just made a lorry of me there as he moved up into 3rd place.
Yeah, and of course what these guys are pitting now do not want to see again is another caution. They don't want to see that yellow come out until everybody has stopped and everybody is on equal rubber. You've got people that can stay out there a bit longer. People like Damon Stockton, Phil Otto, Andrew Dyson, they can stick it out there a little bit longer, and if a caution comes out, it's going to be sitting pretty for them because a lot of the field are a lap down. Currently Skurlock is the first car that's a lap down. So he has made some place advantage. So he's made a fair bit of time over Jason Martin as well. So Skurlock, he has got that jump, but whether it works out, that's going to be the big question.
Matty Raymond, we talk about him every week. He's just quietly going about his business. Very, very clean car at the moment, and he's up into 4th place. He's just going to struggle here a bit with Skurlock coming through. Oh wow, as the 10 of Witcher just moves down there. Skurlock on much, much fresher rubber. And you can see that pace difference there. But Matty Raymond currently sitting in 4th position. He will have to pit soon, of course. But doing another good job tonight.
And we've got a battle between Barry Neal and Jason Martin at the moment. Barry Neal just flying past Jason Martin. He's got a fast charge and Josh Mickelmore behind him as well. But Barry Neal is making hay while the sun shines, and he's going to try and track down Skurlock, who has got a good few seconds between himself and Barry at the moment. So Skurlock has got that. He did make that jump, as we said. So it did work out quite well for him. So we'll see how that one pays out as it goes along.
Yeah, so 5 laps difference there in the rubber between Skurlock and Barry Neal.
As David Stockton just collects the wall a little bit, just a tiniest kiss on the wall, nothing too major for him, but stuff you do not want to do too many times in a race. You're only forgiven so many times when you're racing. Justin Witcher getting swallowed up at the moment. He's still out there on old tyres, but you can see the difference that makes. Meanwhile, Skurlock is absolutely flying out there. He is really trying to put the pace on that car, but Barry Neal is the fastest car out there currently, or was the fastest car out there, but Barry Neal is setting some good pace at the moment. He is really starting to apply pressure. He is catching on Skurlock. So we'll see how that one goes. Got Phil Otto coming in this lap as well. But as they go 3 wide there with Scott Griffiths. Josh.
Wow, have a go at that.
Harry.
Just making it look far too easy, being the meat in the sandwich there. Good driving as well from Justin Witcher and Scott Griffith, just to have the awareness there to make sure that they didn't close down or up on them, and through those 3 went on the fresher rubber. Great bit of racing.
Schumacher, Hakkinen, Zonta-like action there at Spa, isn't it, really? But a bit more extreme. Very, very good job there. Just going down the middle, threading the eye needle. Yeah. That is one fine needle that they threaded as well. A brilliant job by all of those guys.
As we're on lap 100 of 130 to go here. Dyson, Stockton, Witcher, Griffith, the last of the drivers, as Ruben Phelps jumps in to not make that second pit stop. So it is Michael Skurlock, the lead car on the freshest tyres, or the lead car on the fresher tyres, as Ruben Phelps makes his pit stop.
Yeah, the big one that's going to be is Barry Neal. He has got those tyres that are good 3 or so laps fresher than Michael Skurlock. So he is going to be flying, and you can see him catching Skurley at the moment. Barry Neal is really flying out there, and he has got the pace tonight. He's about half a second quicker than Skurley. So Barry Neal is really, really doing an impressive race tonight. He is absolutely flying.
You can see him there just closing up on the back of Skurlock. And with 28 laps to go, let's see Skurlock fighting too hard at this point in time. Lots of things can happen in 28 laps of racing. As just see there, the 6 of Ruben Phelps rejoin the fold.
And that was just the advantage that Barry Neal needed to get past Skurlock. He slipped his way through, threaded his way between the 2 cars, got past Skurley, and that is Barry Neal in the effective race lead, of course. But we do have a leader in Andrew Dyson at the moment, 2-time truck winner in season 1. Andrew Dyson had 2 truck races, won them both, so very impressive stuff from Andrew Dyson, and he managed to win 1 on a road course and 1 on an oval, so he managed to prove himself on both kinds of tracks, so great job from Andrew Dyson. David Stockton's still out there at the moment, and Justin Witcher as well. So those guys are sticking out there. Scott Griffiths has just pitted in, so he is come in already, and I think we might see Justin Witcher in the next lap or 2. So these guys are just going along, hoping for that caution flag to come out. If that yellow comes out, it's going to help them an enormous amount. But if no caution comes, then they are going to drop quite a few places back.
So Foster just unlaps himself once there. Just a little bit of work to do to make all of that up, but he has unlapped himself there from Damon Stockton.
Yeah, Foster showing 3 laps down at the moment. I think it might be 2 laps now, but yeah, he has dropped off a lot of places and got a penalty in the pit lane, unfortunately. So that has really hurt his race. Pole sitter Danny G as well. So we've got first and second on the grid, currently sitting at 26th and 27th. So the pole sitter and second place man have had a very, very unfortunate race. Danny G getting caught out by that early caution. And it's very rare to see pole sitter and second place man who have had no real incidents getting so far down the track. They have just had really bad luck tonight.
Yeah, it does happen some nights, and not your night, as Justin Witcher jumps into pit lane as well. So he's getting that done. JCW just unlapping himself there as well from Damon Stockton. No, from the Andrew Dyson, I should say, our race leader. So that will serve him well when Dyson does decide to make his pit stop, which I imagine will be relatively soon.
Yeah, he's done 54 laps at the moment, so those few laps under caution will, of course, give him a little bit of extra fuel. So he is going to be pushing that tank right to the limit right now and running it until it is almost vapor. So he will try to keep out as long as possible, just hope for that caution flag, and if that caution comes, it's going to work out for him. The only thing he has to be careful of course, is if you are running it so fine on the fuel, if that caution flag comes out, the pit lane can be closed and you can get caught out there with no fuel. So he's just got to hope he's got enough fuel to make it around a couple of times just so the pit lane can actually open up. So it's going to be interesting for him. He's done 55 laps now. So I imagine we're going to see him coming in very shortly.
Caution wouldn't be the worst thing for the neutral spectators here. Just to see that come out and we throw a little bit of a mix-up into the conclusion of this race. 23 laps to go, about to be 22 laps to go. So there's the DPR boys here doing a good job. And they'll be hoping.
And just jumping back to Hamish Gallagher and Parry Anastakis quickly. Parry's just got a good run on Hamish here because Hamish just had a big moment. That car's sliding through the corner. Huge amount of oversteer for Gallagher. He's on those tyres. Similar stint as Parry actually. So not much difference in tyre life between the two. Just different driving styles there. And Hamish Gallagher getting caught out a little bit there. But as you said, caution would make things a bit more spicy, but I've got to say, I'd rather see it run green because we've seen a fantastic drive from Barry Neal tonight. Just incredible pace out there.
He has done a ripping job, that's for sure. He's now 3.5 seconds to the good in front of Michael Skurlock. Jason Martin currently in adjusted third place, but we can't say that yet because there's no caution. We are expecting, of course, Dyson and Stockton to make another pit stop before the end of the race.
If they can make it to the end of the race without stopping, then they're going to be checking those cars in scrutineering for extra fuel tanks because I don't think they can do it, in all honesty. But they're going to try and edge it out as long as they can. If they manage to make it on fuel, I think there's going to be a lot of eyebrows raised, and it will be a bit of a miracle, I think.
Well, I did say expecting them to make another stop. We did see there just Damon Stockton just running down on the infield there, so he is going to get down into pit lane now and get his stop done. Barry Neal's going to head flying past there, you just saw him, and he will make his stop, leaving Andrew Dyson as the only car remaining to make a second stop tonight.
Yeah, coming onto the infield very early there, Damon Stockton. I'm just wondering if he might be very low on fuel and just having to nurse it into pit lane, just because it was very late there for that call's come in. But just speaking of the pace of Barry Neal, he's only just 19 seconds behind Andrew Dyson at the moment. So he has made up a full, full 30? He's made up about a lap and a half time, because you lose about a lap and a half when you pit here. So he has made up an enormous amount.
Yeah, definitely. So Barry Neal, Skurlock, Martin. In fact, Skurlock and Martin a little closer, but the field sort of spread itself out here as we've had another good session of green flag running. We'll jump back here to Riley Curtis, Paul Jackson, and Phil Otto, who are battling away. This is for 11th, 12th, and 13th, respectively. And Paul Jackson here just looking to get a move done down the inside of Riley Curtis, and as he moves down onto that low line. Keep an eye on this for a minute or two as Andrew Dyson does jump into pit lane, so the field will adjust itself.
I was about to say, if Andrew Dyson can keep it out there, he's been the king of fuel saving, and he definitely has 62 laps that stint. Just a fantastic stint for him, and this is going to help him with fresher tyres. So he will be quick when he comes out, but he will have lost a lot of time by sticking out there on those old tyres. So be interesting to see what he can do when he comes back out. We saw his teammate Damon Stockton. He came out in 24th position. So when he stopped, he came out quite a fair bit down. He's going to lose a lap, of course. I'd say we'd probably see Andrew Dyson come out around about Philip Worley or Lachlan Urquio.
Yeah, just not sure what happened there. It looked like he was on his way out of pit lane. It did indicate out on my timing monitor, but just a little hiccup there. So he's still in the pit lane getting his service done. And Barry Neal now leads the race.
I reckon Andrew Dyson has copped a penalty because he is in there for an awful long time, and there is no way that's just for fuel. So he has undone all of that good work, unfortunately, and he has either copped a penalty or he's having a technical issue, unfortunately. Really good run from Andrew Dyson there, being undone in the pit lane, and we've seen that a couple of times tonight, unfortunately. These things do happen, and you make a mistake and you do pay for it.
On his way out now, so very, very unfortunate there for him. That minute 40, that's a extraordinarily long time for him to be in pit lane. So maybe just copying a penalty, as you said, but nothing to take away from this man at the front here. Barry Neal now nearly 5 seconds to the good over Michael Skurlock. Jason Martin in third. We've got Josh Micklemore, Parry Anastakis. We've got Hamish Gallagher, Matty Raymond, Joshua Carroll-Walden, Steve Williams, and Phil Otto rounding out your top 10 as we have 13 laps to go here at Kansas.
And what a great job from Phil Otto. He's on slightly fresher tyres than some of the guys around him at the moment. He stopped a little bit later, same as Matty Raymond actually, but Phil Otto making 19 positions in this race. Phil starting way back there in the nosebleed rows of 29th place, and he's made it up to 10th at the moment, and he is catching on Stephen Williams. So he's catching on Stevie Dub, and it will be interesting to see how he goes here. So a little bit of a gap between them, but he is catching. Matty Raymond is going to be catching on Hamish Gallagher relatively shortly as well, so that's going to be one to watch out for as we've got 11 laps remaining. So we've still got some battles to go out on track, but at the moment Barry Neal has pulled out almost 5 seconds over Michael Skurlock. That is a big thing to do when you can say you've pulled out a 5-second gap over Michael Skurlock, Jason Martin, and Josh Micklemore, 3 of the top drivers in the ANZCAR field and some of the best oval races in Australia. That's a very big achievement to have. He is having a fantastic race out there at the moment.
Yeah, as you say, you're in pretty good company there at the front, and you've also got to say as well, this bloke, Harry Anastakis, doing a fantastic job in 5th. As well, he's maintaining that. Gallagher just closing on him ever so slightly, but again, just playing up the front here and doing a ripping job in the 144 Penrite liveried entry. So he hopefully can hold on to that for him. I imagine that will probably be his best result in the Cup Series.
I'm going to have a look now, actually. But yeah, it's going to be one of his best results for the season for Parry Anastakis. Top 5 finish is always a big thing, and it is a huge thing to get in the Cup Series. It's not an easy thing to do. That will be his first his first top 5 finish if he makes it, and it'd be his first top 10 appearance as well. So, so very good. It will be definitely his best finish in the Cup Series at least. So he's doing a good job at the moment. He's just keeping Hamish Gallagher at arm's length. He is slightly catching on the man in front of him, Josh Micklemore. So he has got a little bit of pace advantage, and I think running out front will have helped him a little bit as well, giving him a little bit more confidence too. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Meanwhile, we've got
there it is. We're going to have it. Oh, is it going to call it? No, not able to. Not just quite there. The 93 Riley Curtis just getting turned a little bit. No caution called. He was able to get it back under control, and he has dropped a ton of places there. Just a very small incident, put him up into the wall, but you can see the damage on the back of that Mark 1 Esports car there, and just got away without calling that caution. That would have been interesting. 8 laps to go.
Yeah, that was very, very close there, and good job from all those drivers to keep it going and also to avoid it as well. That is one of the other things as well, is avoiding an incident is just as important as not having one. So great job from those drivers. Meanwhile, Jason Martin is starting to catch on the back of Skurley. Michael Skurlock in the Crank Esport car getting caught by Jason Martin in the Mitch Motorsport car. Something we've said a fair few times in the ANZCAR series. We've seen these guys battle it out many times. And Jason Martin doing a good job there, just chasing down Skurlock, who is very similar strategies between those two guys, just a lap between them. But they are very much getting close to each other. Meanwhile, just a little bit further back, Hamish Gallagher is closing on Parry Anastakis at the moment. So he is managing to close a little bit, but Parry is keeping going, and he is closing on Micklemore at the same time. So there are still quite a few battles going on down the pack. Meanwhile, Phil Otto has made that position over his teammate Stevie Dubb. Stephen Williams in the DPR car has got overtaken by Phil Otto. Phil on that charge up the grid as well. And watch out for Maddie Raymond towards the end of this race as well. Maddie Raymond is catching on Hamish Gallagher and Parry Anastakis as well. So we've only got 4.5 laps to go, you do see a move down there as Gallagher does try and make the move on Parry. He's going to try on the outside there, doesn't quite make it stick this time around, but he might be able to get it the next lap. Will Gallagher make it work?
So just there, as you see, Gallagher does get past there on Parry, so he's moved up into 5th. A pretty clean move there on the outside, so able to get that done. And as you said before, Carlos Skurlock and Martin, this is closing up. 4 laps to go. It's just under 3/4 of a second though, so I figure Skurlock might be able to hold that one out. Barry Neal miles out in front, but Skurlock and Martin at the moment on the podium. Micklemore probably not able to do it here, so we might see just a change amongst the 2 drivers at the front. And Micklemore, Gallagher bearing down on him as well. So Gallagher's got some good late speed here. It was nearly half a second to the good on Josh Micklemore last time around. You can see him just in the back of the camera there, 3 laps to go. Let's watch him as he makes his way. He's closing in very quickly indeed. So he may well get a move on Josh Micklemore. We'll keep an eye on that one and the battle between Skurlock and Martin in front.
Yeah, as we've only got we're almost on the white flag lap here as Barry Neal's still in the lead. It is quickly closing down. We've only got 1.5 laps to go right now, so this race is quickly coming to an end. Not much further to go right now as Barry Neal does come around the final turn. And he's going to be crossing the line to get that white flag. Jason Martin really has to push that pedal down. I don't think he's got enough time to do it. Looking around, I don't think anyone's really close enough to do much at this very second. There's a couple of people that could be close if there's a mistake. Maddie Raymond is closing on Parry Anastakis, but you've got to say Barry Neal has been the class of the field as the white flag was out. And he is coming around for this final lap of the race. He comes around to turns 3 and 4 for the final time tonight in the Gotcha Racing Team. That absolutely beautiful New Zealand-inspired livery. Barry Neal takes his first ANZCAR victory here at Kansas Motor Speedway. He wished it to come true, and it did come true. Michael Scarlett comes home second with Jason Martin in third. Josh Mickelmore fourth. Hamish Gallagher in fifth. Harry Anastakis makes his best career finish in sixth position, with Matty Raymond silently just creeping his way up into seventh. Another great drive from Matty Raymond, quietly working his way in the top 10. JCW makes his way into the top 10 again this season. Good drive from him, starting 17th, making it up to 8th. Phil Otto, the biggest mover of the night, 20 positions gained for the night. Stephen Williams up there in 10th, rounding out the top 10.
We'll jump back on with Barry Neal here, as he's going to certainly create the land of the great white cloud behind that's Toyota of his, as he pulls up here on the start-finish line and takes it to maximum revs, and off we go. The 22 will be a big celebration here, as he does basically a perfect circle there. That's what we like to see. A great celebration here. First win in ANZCAR Cup as well, and that 22 looks absolutely fantastic. Oh, very with what do we say, withdrawn, mild celebration there from him, just reserving the motor, maybe team orders there.
Yeah, that's it. Not wanting to ruin that car. I think he wants it on display. So I think he wants to keep that car on display and keep it there for future preservation. But a great finish there from Barry Neal. We've got to say, he's been having a great season this year. He's had a top 5 finish, top 10 finish as well. But this is the first win of his ANZCAR season, and a very popular victory as well. Well deserved, you've got to say. So working our way down from 11th, Scott Griffiths up there in 11th place. Great finish for him, and Justin Witcher in 12th. Paul Jackson in 13th, teammate to Barry Neal, of course. Luke Traher 14th. 15th was Neil Pearson in the end, with Christopher Finley in 16th. 17th we had Stephen McLaren. That first race ended, he managed to finish on the lead lap in 17th, so good job for him. Well done to that one. Ruben Phelps making it home in 18th, with Michael Schroeder behind him in 19th. 20th with Damon Stockton, with Riley Curtis, the first car lap down, in 21st. 22nd we had Danny G, the pole sitter. Unfortunate race for him. That caution really cost him dearly. Lachlan Urquio made his way up to 23rd, with Andrew Dyson 24th in the end. Edward Foster 25th after that penalty. Philip Worley 26th, James Robbie 27th, Adam Rosell 28th, and finally Kate Donnelly out of the race very early on in 29th position.
And that is the grid that was. Just waiting for the drivers to jump into the green room there so we can bring them up into the booth and have a chat with them. We've got Barry Neal up on screen as well. So we'll wait and see when they get in there. They're probably all just having a game.
Yeah, having a bit of a chat away and keeping it going. But Barry Neal has jumped up in the green room already. So we've got Jason Martin as well. But we will grab them all down and have a chat to our drivers. We'll start off with third place man. Make the winner wait a little bit as he's sitting in the room. Jason Martin, congratulations on that P3 finish for yourself and for Mitch Motorsport there. Looks like a fairly decent race out there. A lot of green flag running.
Yeah, so good to see some green flag running at last, and certainly suits me a lot better. Although the one yellow, or two yellows, the one yellow we got definitely stuffed me up again.
Yeah, I was going to say about that. It did not work out too well for the team. We saw your teammate and pole sitter Danny G, of course, get caught out really poorly in that caution. That caution really came out at the worst possible time for a lot of you guys, didn't it?
Yeah, sure did. Story of my season, pretty much. Happens just about every race so far.
You say that. You say it's been a terrible season for your standards, which is absolutely true, because I know you've got very high standards. But you're still inside that top 10. Before this race, you were sitting in 6th place. 6 top 10 finishes, 3 top 5 finishes, of course. Even on a bad season, you're still so very good, Jason. Just very consistent, of course. But it's been far less of the sort of top 5s and more of the top 10s this year, hasn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately, the competition stepped up a little bit, so it's not as easy as it used to be. And yeah, some guys have really stepped up, and it's making for great races.
We do like to hear that. I mean, as much as we love talking to you, Jason, it is nice to have that conversation stepping up a bit because, we do remember the early days, of course, where we would call the race beforehand and say, oh, yeah, we'll say Jason Martin and we'll see how it goes. But it really has been a good season in that respect, just for some of the racing. But you're still fighting up there. You're still in with a chance, of course, and you're still putting up a great fight. We saw you catching Scully at the end there. Do you think if maybe there was a couple more laps, you might have been able to get him?
With about 10 to go, I thought, yeah, I've got him. I should be able to catch him just before the end. But no, with about 5 to go, he started pulling away again, and I started dropping off. So I think I used up a bit too much tyres trying to catch him.
Unfortunate there, but congratulations on a top 3 finish. It's good to have you back in the booth, Jason. Before we let you go, of course, the usual shout out and love to sponsors.
Got to thank the boys at Mitch Motorsport for making me put in the practice and just having good fun with them, and BK Designs for doing the paint jobs for the team, and of course you guys for putting on the broadcast for everyone.
As always, you're always welcome. Thank you so much, Jason Martin, for Mitch Motorsport. Congratulations on top 3 finish there again, and I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth in a relatively short time. Thank you so much, Jason.
Thank you, mate.
Next up, we will grab second place finisher for Crank Esport, Mr. Cranker himself, Mick the Skirly Skirlock. Congratulations on that, Peter. It looks like a tricky race out there. You got kind of caught out a little bit with that caution for sure, didn't you?
Yeah, I don't think I want that nickname to stick. Let's not keep that one going. But it was interesting. The car was weird, eh? Like I raced here the other night, and tonight it was really loose. Like it was good, it's good fun, but it could catch you out, especially when you just started really going for it, trying to sort of towards the end there. I was seeing Martin was really catching me up, and I was starting to panic a bit, and you get loose, eh? Like it was pretty crazy. You know, congrats to Barry because he was the man tonight. No one could do nothing about what he was taking whatever line he wanted, pulling away.
Yeah, well, that's something I wanted to talk about, actually, because usually we see that high line run here at Kansas. That tends to be the one that pays off, but it didn't look like it was necessarily true tonight. It seemed like there was a multitude of lines working, and as you said, a fair few of the cars, they looked like they were almost drifting out there tonight. Yeah,
the outside is the stronger line if you're too wide. Like the outside will normally prevail just because you can get that momentum. But if you get if you're early enough in your tyre stint, the inside pays off. And I wasn't practiced enough to really run that bottom smoothly. I started doing it at the end there, started working a bit, but I wasn't 100% comfortable. It definitely wasn't. I wasn't expecting it to be like that, but it was fun. I admit it was a good race, and I did get lucky with that yellow because Mirko was there telling me, you know, he's good with his maths, mate. I don't know if you guys remember the Mirko famous victory.
Oh, yeah, right. We remember that one, the Mirko victory that came out of nowhere.
It's definitely about half of those views on that YouTube video of Mirko just rewinding and watching that thing.
Showing his friends.
But he was telling me to pit like what lap, and I'm doing it, and I was jumping 4 or 5 cars, and because it's so hard to pass here, getting in the way of people is kind of like if you can sit on that outside, it's real hard to make a move, and if you're the guy trying to make moves and your tyres are a few laps newer, you can't get it done, but you wear yours off trying. So it's catch-22, you know. But I'm just happy, mate. Second place, back in here. And I'm happy for Barry, to be honest. He always knows bad luck and his internet dropping out and all that sort of stuff. I'm just hoping that he wasn't going to get a dropout on that last lap or something.
Oh, look, we are very happy as well. I said it was a popular victory. Of course, always nice to have you back in the booth, Scully. And it's been a good season for you so far. 3 victories, of course. 6 top 5 finishes now for yourself as well. And this is going to help you with the regular championship, of course, and really cement you in looking good for that, getting into the chase, of course. You must be pretty happy with how championship-wise it's going.
Yeah, like Edward was saying the other night, just try to keep this big purple pumper going as long as I can. And see if I can just keep it consistent results. The wins don't really matter to me. I wouldn't mind getting a win on one of these Darlington or Charlotte things, though. Really want to get one of those in. But other than that, just top fives, even top tens, it's all right. It's all points. I just want to get there at the end, you know?
Well, that's it. You've got to finish and get those points to get in there at the end. Of course, we are at Darlington next time, so you might get your dream come true, Scully.
Oh, is it as soon as that, is it? Damn. All right, I have to practice then. It's hard because that's one of Jason's favourite, and Edward's really good there lately.
Yeah, so it'll be an interesting race. No, thank you so much, Scully. Before I let you go, of course, usual love and shout-outs to sponsors.
Yeah, mate. Crank Esports, iRace Designs, FGM eCast. Obviously, that's you guys are putting it on. Just the whole league. It was a nice, clean race tonight as well, so everyone for driving well. And, yeah, good on Barry and good on Jason.
Thank you so much, Michael Scarlett there for Crank Esports. Now we're going to jump up to our winner, our first-time winner, I should say, for Gotcha Racing, Mr. Barry Neal. Congratulations on that first victory.
Yeah, no, thanks. I really enjoyed that, actually. No, it was good to win, and it's good that the first time I'm here with you, it's as the winner.
Well, that is it. I did say we're first-time winner, and congratulations on that. You were absolutely dominant out there tonight. What was your secret?
Oh, lots of practice. I've done a lot of practice over the last few days. I did a couple of races, and I learned I can't run that high line that people run. I just keep hitting the wall. So I had to find another way of getting around the track, and I found a way of turning in that left the car balanced so that I could just take the lines that I wanted, and with those people running the high line, I just seemed to be able to overtake them at will and just be able to run sweetly the whole race. It was a lot of practice, and I was really pleased.
No, a lot of hard work paying off there. We've seen some good performances from you, and as Scully said, obviously some bad luck as well. I did notice there was it looked like there was a tiny connection glitch midway through the race. I don't know if that one came across to you, but obviously you must be ecstatic with this one, Barry.
Yeah, no, I am. Yeah, and actually, it did come across. I was shitting. I was abusing my internet connection. I live in the country and I have rural Wi-Fi, and it's not that flash, and often it goes off at night, and it's just a pain. So yeah, no, I thought I'd gone actually at one stage, but yeah, no, I'm really happy. This is the best competition, and so to be able to win here is as good as it gets, I reckon, when it comes to this part of the world. And with these people, you see all the people in the top 10, you just look at them and they're just all great drivers that I've been racing for a year or so back into iRacing, and they're the names that you sit there and look at and go, oh, they're really quick. I wish I was as quick as them.
Well, that's it. And we were saying in the broadcast, of course, you're leading Skurlock, Martin, Micklemore, Gallagher, people that have got multiple wins under their belt, and you look like a natural out there. You did not look like you were panicking at all. You looked like you had it all under control, and just an absolute brilliant first win. You got to say, obviously, when that caution came out, you must have been a little bit biting of the nails, because I imagine you were more into green flag running than caution running tonight.
Yeah, actually, I wasn't because I had passed the leader. I came out and I'd passed the leader, so I was actually on the lead lap at the very back of the lead lap, so that I was kind of like, and I'd only done a few laps, so I thought, oh, that's okay. And actually, the very first few laps of a stint, I tend not to be as quick as everyone else, and then it's normally after about 6-8 laps, I can then kind of look after the tires just a little bit to start with. So I often fall back, or I don't do very well at the very start of a run, and then I sort of come on strong. So I'm certainly a fan of green flag running.
Oh, absolutely. And got to say as well, my favourite livery out there has managed to take the win as well. So the usual thing, Barry. Well, not the usual thing for you. The first time doing it, and also I've just got to mention as well. I did have a bit of a chuckle over the radio with that restart as well. Just the first caution, I think it was with you just mentioning on the restart, just double checking the rules, of course. Not used to being out there, obviously.
Yeah, no, I don't. People, leagues run different rules, and I've actually never been the leader, so I've never actually knew whether I had to go on green or whether I had my own choice when I went.
You did a fantastic job of dropping the hammer at the right time with that one, so congratulations on that one. So first tick for your restart, first tick from starting at the front for you. But of course, as I said before, one of my favourite paint jobs out there. So before I let you go, of course, thank your sponsors and give them your love.
Excellent, thanks. Thanks, I'd like to thank Arthur Racing, Paul Jackson, for inviting me to join the team and stuff. MRX Race Sims, they're a partner of ours. You guys and the league and everyone who raced.
You're more than welcome, Barry. Congratulations on that first win. Congratulations on cementing that victory in the ANZCAR Cup. The top ANZCAR league top of the ANZCAR league to do it in as well. Congratulations, and we hope to see you back in the booth later in the year.
Excellent, thanks. I look forward to being back. I hope I will be.
Thank you so much, Barry. So Barry Neal there, the winner of the race, Stuart. That was a heck of a race win, especially for your first win. Just doing it in style there.
You would have thought that it was the 17th or 18th time that he'd led a race and brought it home. It was pretty smooth sailing for him there, and doing it in the group of drivers that he was running in as well. A fantastic result for him there. The 22 Barry Neal taking out the win here tonight at Kansas. Big shout out as well has to go to Parry Anastakis as well for his 6th place finish, his first top 10 finish for the series as well. So well done to him. A good drive tonight as well. So what a great race. Only one caution period over 130 laps, and the guys did a great job tonight running this race at Kansas.
Yeah, it was a brilliant one, and it's just a really classy first victory, and as I said, a very popular one among the drivers. We've seen Barry have some good races this year, but be unfortunate with connection issues, as he said, and just be dropped out. And nice to see something good coming towards the end of that one for him. As we said, next time we will be at Darlington. So on the 6th of May, we'll be over at Darlington, of course. Next week, we do not have the trucks running because the truck season has finished, but it will be coming back very, very shortly. So keep your eyes open for all the details on that one. And then we have on Tuesday night, Stuart.
We're back to Ozpass and Road America. Looking forward to that one. So that's a 70-minute enduro to conclude the second leg of the Oz Pro Am Sim Series. As reminded by one of the series organisers today that we're over halfway through that series already. It's just flown along. So one truck series down for 2021, halfway through our first full Ozpass series for 2021. Well, in fact, sorry, that is the second one. So things flying along here on FGM eCast. We've got a couple of announcements coming up soon as well, just about what's going on. I think it's the 12th or so when the trucks come back, but a couple of other things to announce before then. But before we get to any of those, we do have on June 10th our 12-hour stream coming up. We're working hard on that in the background, just organising a couple of other events, but the culmination of that event is the Prelude to the Dream that we are running in conjunction with ANZCAR here. We are raising money for a very worthy cause. All entrants into the race, $5 each, but the money goes towards raising money for I keep saying money a lot, a mobility vehicle for a family in need that needed a mobility vehicle for their daughter. So that's who we're raising money for. If you're interested in running in that one, jump on the ANZCAR Facebook page and just reach out and we'll help you get into that one, pay money. We've already got a field of around about 30 cars committed to that. We want to really bolster that field if we can and get a number of heats running before we run the main final later in the evening. So do jump on and get involved in that one if you want to have a fun night with a great bunch of guys. That will be one for you to get on board with, and of course it will be streamed live across the FGM eCast network.
Yeah, absolutely. Racing at Eldora Speedway in the pro late models. Going to be a fantastic race in that one. They are absolute fun to drive. 60 entrants maximum, so get your entries in fast. It is for a very good cause, as we say. Those heat races are going to be absolutely spectacular. But for tonight, we saw a spectacular victory for Barry Neal, just absolutely dominating that race, and practice definitely paid off for him here tonight. Practice does make perfect, it seems, especially at Kansas. But next time up at Darlington, it's going to be a very different story. We've got some Darlington specialists out there, as we heard Skurlock saying. So it's going to be an interesting race for sure. So we will wish you all a good night. Thank you so much for joining us on all the streams, of course, and make sure to give a little like and subscribe if you have been following us, because every little helps, and it does help with the old algorithm to make sure more people can see what we're doing. But from myself, Carl Winnie, and of course Stuart Brown, of course up there doing the camera and commentary tonight, we wish you all a good night and see you next time.
Thanks very much for watching.